What's up, everybody? Back with another paranormal story to hopefully scare the crap out of you guys. And just real quick, uh, welcome back to all my followers, to my new listeners. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and comment. I love to read you guys' comments and interact with you guys. And then, once again, there'll be a donation link pinned in the comments. And like I said before, it's totally voluntary. I'm not holding a gun to anybody's head. Just try and make a little bit of money off this channel if I can, you know. So anyway, this story is another story that happened when I was about 15 or 16 years old. And just keep it 100% real. I actually wasn't at this party. I don't remember what I was doing that night. But most of my friends were at this party, and they all swear up and down that this is what happened. And I know everybody that was involved in this story. That's why I'm telling it. And it was just a really trippy story from what my friends said. So I'm going to share it with you guys. So, like I said, we were all about 15, 16 years old. And one of our friends had just turned 15 years old. And, I'm not going to obviously say her real name for her, out of respect, to her. Um, we're just going to call her, we'll call her Shane. So anyway, she had just turned 15, and this was her birthday party. So, like I said, I wasn't there that night, but, a bunch of my friends were there. And, I think they said this was maybe like pretty late into the party. Like, they were having a good time, they had a bunch of beer and like whiskey and stuff. And her parents were gone. Like, I don't know if they were, you know, um, camping or something. They had taken off for the weekend. So her and her older sister had the house to themselves. Her older sister was like 18 or 19. So they trusted her. So anyway, they had been partying, having a good time, playing music and drinking and smoking stuff. And I think maybe like around, real quick, she had been experimenting with black magic, like witchcraft, I guess. And I don't know if her older sister was into it too, or like who got her into it, or how she got interested in it. But she was into some pretty dark stuff. Like, I mean, like the occult, like dark stuff. Like, I guess, like satanic shit, like trying to summon like demons and stuff. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, she took an interest in that. So, I guess like maybe around a little bit after midnight, she started acting kind of funny. I guess they were saying she started acting kind of weird, and they said she took a stick and started drawing a freaking big pentagram like in the middle of the ground. Like, I guess she like scraped it in the dirt or something, right? And then they said they were all like, what the hell are you doing? And she just like ignored them, and said, you'll see. She just kept saying, you'll see. And so, like, I guess she sat down in the middle of this circle, and they said basically, like, I feel weird even doing this, but they said she kind of like put her hands, like, I don't even know if I can do it. She kind of like twisted her hands like this, like in a weird way. And I guess, she called it the inverted prayer or some bullshit. I think it's some like, satanic witchcraft shit. I'm about to do the sign of the cross because this shit's got me creeped out already. But anyway, so like they said, that's what she did. She sat down with her, like with her knees crossed or whatever, like Indian style, I guess you call it. And then she did her hands like that. And said she closed her eyes, and she just like started like mumbling to herself. Like, I guess I don't know if she was saying some kind of ritual or something, but they said she was like that for like maybe about 20 or 30 minutes. And, they basically forgot all about her and went on with the party. And every once in a while they would like, I guess like go like this in front of her and like they'd be like yelling her name in her ear, and she just was like looked like she was in a trance, like just mumbling with her eyes closed, right? And then they said like, um, maybe like, and I don't know where her sister was at during all this. I think her sister was inside, like probably on the phone with one of her friends because, she didn't want to be out there with a bunch of 15, 16 year olds, like acting obnoxious, drunk or whatever. So, you know, obviously her sister wasn't doing her job. She was supposed to be babysitting her or watching her little sister and make sure she didn't get in too much trouble. And she's out here doing this freaking ritual or whatever the hell she's doing, right? So anyway, the sister was inside somewhere, like maybe her boyfriend was there inside with her or something. But so anyway, they said after maybe about 20, 25 minutes, um, somebody happened to look at her and they said her eyes were kind of like they were kind of like halfway open and they could see her eyes like flipping, like moving. And like it was mostly like just the whites of her eyes, but you could like every once in a while you would see like the pupil or whatever, the iris. So, they said they were like tripping out on her, like, what the fuck, like that's weird shit. So like, I guess they started thinking maybe she's having a seizure or something, right? So a couple of them started to like shake her, like started to like, tell her, hey, what, snap out of it. What's wrong? What's wrong? Are you okay? And then, so I guess like maybe like a few minutes after they started trying to shake her and stuff like that, they said all of a sudden she just let out a scream, like just like a horrible, crazy scream. And she like, no shit, this is what they swear up and down, like about 12 or 15 of my best friends, my best homies. They said this girl jumped up and just started chasing after everybody like a wild animal, like, ah, like just like screaming like a wild animal, right? And they swear up and down that her eyes were black, like her eyes turned black. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they were saying. Her freaking eyes looked black. And she was just like trying to scratch everybody and bite everybody. And she said, they said they were all running from her and shit, right? And so she, I guess she tackled one of our friends on the ground and started to like scratch him and like try to bite him and stuff. And, he was a pretty good sized dude, like, close to about 6 foot. So he managed to like kick her off of him and she went flying, I guess, right? So, everybody's like running from her, like just tripping out and shit. And so we had this one really tall friend, I'll just call him B, that's his first letter of his first name, right? This dude, no joke, was about 6'7". And he wasn't like skinny. He was like had some muscle on him, like kind of a lean dude, but not skinny, right? And he was like 6'7", like I said. So he had to have weighed at least like, I would say like 250 or 260. And, so he said he just like kind of ran and jumped over the fence because it was easy for him because he was so tall, right? So then he said he just kind of like, after he jumped over the fence, he said he was leaning like this, like over the top of the fence, just watching. Like, he was kind of a crazy dude, kind of had like kind of a sick sense of humor, was always like playing crazy jokes on us and stuff. So he was laughing his ass off. He thought it was funny. So he said he was just watching, and just cracking up, right? Just tripping out on her. She's chasing everybody around. And then, so he says all of a sudden, like, she's running by, like, I guess she was chasing somebody, right? So he's just kind of looking at her like this. And then he said she just stops and like turns and grabs him, like by his, I think she grabbed him by the shirt, he said. And like I said, this dude was like 6'7", probably about 260. He said she lifted him up and pulled him into the yard. Yeah. This dude swears up and down, and all my other friends swear up and down that that's what happened too. And so she pulled him into the yard and she started scratching him and trying to bite him. So he had scratch marks all on his chest where she scratched him, right? And I guess she started trying to bite him, but he like grabbed her. I guess he grabbed her by the neck and he held her like that with one hand. And he said as hard as he could, he said he just goes, bam, and slapped the shit out of her and then threw her. And then he said, like, she just kind of laid there for a couple seconds. And then he said he was, like, scared, like, oh, shit. I think I really, like, messed her up, right? So he said, like, they kind of, like, walked over to her kind of slow. And they're just kind of looking at her, like, asking her if she's okay. And then they said all of a sudden she's laying there and she just kind of opens her eyes real slow. And she's just, like, looking at them. And then she's like, what happened? And then she just, like, started crying, they said, and, like, didn't remember anything. She said, they said she just kept saying, what happened? What happened? Like, what did I do? And they said they just started telling her, you were acting like a fucking wild animal, chasing us, all around the yard, trying to bite and scratch us all and shit. And I guess she just, like, she got up and she ran inside, like, crying, And the crazy thing is, like I said, I wasn't there for that. But after that night, that shit really messed her up. Because I remember, like, not too long after that, like maybe a week or two after that, she freaking ran away. And she never came back to her house. And we used to see her on the streets, like, she became homeless, and she got hooked on, I think back then it was still crack. So she got hooked on crack and I don't know what other drugs. And, unfortunately we found out she was being pimped out by this one dude, so she was selling herself for drugs, I guess, and unfortunately that guy was, exploiting her, to get money or whatever, right? And, I remember running into her, like, years after that. Like, I think maybe, like, she must have been, like, we were both, like, in our early 20s, I would say, um like maybe like 23, 24. I think I had just gotten back from my military training, for the Army Reserves. And I remember seeing her at the car wash, and she didn't recognize me because, I was all, like, clean cut, and looked a little bit different. And I remember I recognized her right away, and, like, she was with this dude, and I could kind of tell, like, to me it kind of looked like, like a pimp, right? Like he was pimping her out. But anyway, she walked over to me and was, like, about to ask me something. Like, I don't know if she was gonna ask me for money or if she was gonna, like, trying to sell herself to me or whatever. But, like, when she comes walking up to me, I looked at her and I was like, I said her name. I said, what's up? I said, how are you doing? And her eyes just got real big as she just kind of, like, was staring at me. And then she goes, she goes, hey, I remember you. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I recognize you right away. It's like, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, what happened to you? And then, like, she just didn't really want to talk. She just goes, I gotta go. I was like, all right, take care of yourself. And then that was, like, the last time I seen her around. But yeah, that really happened to a girl that we used to know. And it was a trip. Like I said, I wasn't at the party to see it, but I seen the aftermath of what happened to her afterwards. She was never the same after that night. And but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that story. It was a trip, and my friends swear up and down that she basically turned into a freaking wild animal. Like, basically, she was possessed, I guess. And again, I'm gonna do one of these because that kind of shit scares the shit out of me, because I've had some experiences, of myself. Like, it's like that saying, curiosity killed the cat. Like, I know I talked about, I used to do a little bit of paranormal investigating and just always watching, like, paranormal stuff. And, like, I still watch paranormal stuff, but I try not to watch the stuff when they start talking about, like, demonic stuff and possessions and shit. Especially when they start playing recordings of real, quote unquote, real people that are possessed. Because whether you believe in that or not, man, that invites those evil spirits, man. Like, no joke. It gets their attention, when you play that stuff. And not saying you're going to get possessed or anything like that, but you can get a visitation, that's what can happen, and it happened to me before, and I'll talk about that in one of my other videos. But anyway, for now, don't forget to hit like, don't forget to subscribe, leave comments, and for now, your homie Big Cisco. Peace.